Nancy Pelosi last night showed the power. This is almost Machiavellian genius. The slight movement of the hand, like an orchestra, just no.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Liberal Expression. Now, we could go over all of the moments that the liberal media jumped into a big pool of bias in their coverage of President Trump's State of the Union address. But, at some point I do have to eat. So instead, let's take a shorter and briefer look at the praise that they gave the genius. Yes, indeed, the genius is the word used by the liberal media to describe Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi last night showed the power. This is almost Machiavellian genius. The slight movement of the hand, like an orchestra, just no embarrassments here. What did you think of that?
First of all, as you well know, I'm on Team Pelosi. She is not only smart, but she understands her caucus.
Tonight, put your hands together for Jeannie and the Nancy Pelosi moment that has everybody talking.
It was the show behind the show, nodding no when the president declared the State of the Union is
strong.
Muttering commentary to herself, smiling at colleagues, urging new female members of Congress to rise, rolling her eyes.
Ridiculous partisan investigations.
Ah, the look of a genius, based on her substance and her debating style and her rebuttal, it's all based on eye rolls and clapping. Facts first, CNN at their finest there. I mean, she knows how to roll her eyes, Bob. That is clearly the mark of a genius. Also leaving a mark, a combination of blackface incidents and an alleged sexual assault scandal facing Democratic leaders in Virginia. Now, the liberal media can overlook infanticide, but they have to admit things like a governor who wore blackface, well, that's just wrong. But if you do something about it, well, that could lead to some far worse things.
If the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general were all to resign, then the governorship would fall to the Virginia House Speaker, who is a conservative Republican.
Now, if all three men resign, the three men that are mired in scandals right now, then the Republican who is the House Speaker would be the next in line to take over the state.
The Democrats are worried that these scandals could spoil their chances of retaking the legislature later this year.
Oh, so it's not about blackface being offensive. It's not about sexual assault claims that the media didn't want to report on last year when they found out. What was it about again?
Democrats are worried that these scandals could spoil their chances of retaking the legislature later this year.
Oh, indeed. That's the measure of importance. It's their power. Because the media would hate to acknowledge the obvious comparison, that of a California professor claiming a sexual assault years ago by a Virginia lieutenant governor, Justin Fairfax. Well, that sounds at least a little similar to the hoopla that liberals created when a California professor was claiming a sexual assault years ago by Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
But I don't think we should sit here and suggest that there was just no, we literally swept under the rug the opportunity to understand better what a series of women were saying about Brett Kavanaugh, and then we had the behavior that he exhibited in the confirmation hearing itself, which was essentially behavior that even conservative judges were saying was inappropriate behavior to suggest you had the temperament to sit on the bench.
It's not the political D at the end of the name. It's all about the temperament.
According to two sources who were in the room, Fairfax's first response to the story from Vanessa Tyson was, quote, "F that bitch."
Well, liberal media sees no problem there, so they move on to something else that they love. In this case, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her Green New Deal. She joined Senator Ed Markey this week to lay out some details, which include upgrading or replacing every building in the United States, and, giving money to those who are simply unwilling to work. So, with these kind of details, Facts First CNN, they decided to dig in and give us some great factual insight.
To make a movie of this moment, you cast Bradley Cooper as Ed Markey, the old climate warrior, and Lady Gaga as this new freshman.
This is Allie and Jackson, climate change.
And their love story is about the planet.
Yeah, socialist proposal is reported on as a love story about the planet. I'd love to tell you more, but we're simply out of time. I'm Eric Shiner for MRC TV. I'll be back with more media wackiness next week.